Yeah, that's still going to work through it. Uh, you know, its minutes are going to be hard to get. We just want to make sure that whoever's out there gives us great minutes with great energy and effort, but you have to make sacrifices. Someone's going to have to maybe not play or not play as much, and my job is to manage it and make sure everybody's ready whenever they're called upon. But it's going to be tough to play them all. But there's ways that you can play small. Um, Probably maybe not a lot of minutes tonight with Keith at the 5, but eventually, when he gets in game form, and he might, get some minutes at the 5, and so there's gonna be minutes are gonna be reduced in a lot of areas.
Just the idea of having him back now, especially in the defensive standpoint. What's that mean for this team?
Yeah, it's good to have him back. He gives us that edge that I like, and our team is accustomed the last few years having him. He can play small. He's a good size, skilled 5 if we do go small, and at 4 he's a matchup problem. If teams play small, he can post up. If they play big, he takes it on the court or at the 3-point line. He's really improved in his 3-point game. So it's going to give us a boost. Who knows, how many minutes he's going to be able to play tonight. Probably not more than 15 or 16, but might not even play that. But you're just very slowly going to work him in, and we're going to be very patient. It's early in the season. We're in no rush to give him a lot of minutes, but he's had a couple, I would say, 7 to 10 days of good practices, whether it's 1-on-1, 3-on-3, or 4-on-4, and the last few times 5-on-5.
And is this about managing expectations when he's back, especially considering he may pick up some fouls, make some maybe slow in defensive rotations?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably I'm not anticipating that, but if it does happen, it wouldn't surprise me. But he's really played well in practice the last couple of days of practice. But it's different. It's game. Game is another level of competition, another speed that he's going to have to get used to, and it's hard to. I mean, he's been playing in the NBA his entire career, but still he hasn't played in a game in 5 or 6 months. So we're excited to have him back, and we're going to be very patient with him. And we know once everybody's back, we can really start playing the way we're capable of playing.
Last thing on that, do coaches officiate, and how has he looked? When you guys are calling fouls and not calling fouls.
He's looked good. Yeah, we have some bad officials as our officials in practice, but they get yelled at quite a bit.
Without Tristan Thompson, for them, Kevin Love probably plays more at the 5. What does that do for you guys going against a guy who's able to play that stretch 5 role, which is something last year in the playoffs with Boston was problematic at times?
Well, you have to be aware. He's capable of knocking down 5 or 6 threes, and you have to be aware. And in transition, normally the bigs are so programmed for their entire career since they started playing basketball, run back to the paint. If you do that, your man's going to score 3 nowadays. And March and Jan has been well versed on that the last couple of weeks, and we've talked about it. We've showed film, and we've done some practice and drills, and they've gotten better. They got some reps under their belt, and they're getting better. And because we like to have them on the offensive end, they do a great job of setting screens and creating opportunities for us to get points within our half court. But when you're guarding a guy that can shoot threes, you got to be ready. You got to be able to guard, and we can switch and make sure that we're all covered shooters.
How do you see Kelly's role changing with him going to the bench? And are you encouraging him to be, more of a playmaker when he's playing with that second unit, whereas he's, kind of spotting up and shooting more when he's playing with Wall and Bill?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to. I mean, it's definitely going to be an adjustment coming off the bench, but he's going to. His main focus for our team is the defending and getting opportunities to score within his offensive package. And when not only him, when players try to do too much, it usually doesn't work out to the advantage of the team. But Kelly's improving. He's a big part of what we do, and I see his minutes. He maybe get a few less minutes, but there's going to be games he plays what he was playing. Just depends on matchups. Depends on how we're playing, how he's playing.
Scott, last year when you got off to the 1-8 start, obviously unfamiliarity played a role in that. Do you see a parallel to what, I know you're not in the Cavs locker room, but
I don't know. I mean,
but I mean, in terms of your team last year, was it right?
it's totally different. I mean, it's totally different. They've been, LeBron has been in the finals. It's like, it's his finals. Seems like every year he's there. And I can imagine there's no like panic in their locker room because they've been there, and depending on where they seed, I'm sure they're confident enough. All they have to do is win one road game in the playoffs, and they get home court back.
When did it become apparent that they could be run on?
Say that again?
When did it become obvious that the Cavs were so vulnerable to fast breaks, transition, those kinds of things?
I mean, it's just how you play. It's whatever your strengths of your team is. I mean, we want to run. We want to play fast. We want to move bodies. We want to move our opponent side to side, whether it's Golden State or Cleveland or whoever we're playing. We want to play. We want to utilize our strength and our ability to create opportunities early in the shot clock with John and Brad and our athletic perimeter players. But we do that every night. That's our game plan. Sometimes it doesn't work as well as we would like.
During Shooter, you were talking to Tim. What was kind of the message of that conversation?
Gosh, that's nosy. I'm not telling you. I love Tim. Just want him to continue to work on his game. He's a point guard that should get better. I like mentoring point guards. I know a lot about being a backup point guard. I've been it for over a decade. It's not an easy position. You don't get a lot of respect, and every time the team gives up a run, it's always the backup point guard's fault. And I've been there, and I understand it. I was telling him that. And, you gotta play with the swagger. He's a confident kid, and I just told him that he needs to continue to present that persona to the team, and we like that. I like that. And he's had some good moments with us, but he had some moments that I think he needs to get better at, and I just wanted to make sure that he understands that.
Scotty, it's one thing to have Keith speak after games, it's another thing to actually have him with that starting unit again. What does it feel like for you and the staff to kind of be whole again?
It's good. I like coaching him. I like his toughness. I like his. I think he's gotten better over the last season, and I like players that are committed to what they're doing, and he plays with an edge. And I keep saying that, and I love toughness. I love guys that are going to leave it out there. And he creates opportunities. He can play above the basket, and he can guard bigger players, and he does a pretty good job. I don't know about tonight, but when he gets into game form, he's going to be able to guard smaller players on our switches. But he gives us a lot of versatility.
Because what happened against Phoenix in LA happened if he's in the lineup?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think we had a chance to win both of those games without him, and it's past us. We move on, and the only thing you can do is worry about the next game.
Coach, how do you feel about the new and improved NBA scheduling that has less back-to-backs? Do you feel like it gives teams more time to prepare in between games and more time to, kind of look at the scouting reports on different teams?
I mean, it's boring. You have so much time between games. Who wants to practice? Right? Practice. I mean, it's great for the players. It's definitely great for the players. It's good for the coaches because you get time to prepare, and there's assistant coaches and video guys are scrambling when it's back-to-back and 4 and 5 nights, and there's a lot of late night editing and scouting and all that stuff that we have to do to prepare. It does give you some extra time and gives you a little bit of a balance in your life also, which is nice.
Scott, the original timeline for Markieff was 6 to 8 weeks. Today marks the 6th week, and even if he wasn't suspended, he would have beat that. Was there a point where it became clear to you that he was not only on time but ahead of schedule?
Well, when they said 6 to 8, I mean, at that point, six weeks ago, we all know how that goes. That's just a general timeline. But about 4.5 weeks into it, I thought, okay, he's moving around pretty good. He's playing some 1-on-0 and playing 1-on-1 with our coaches. And in a few days after that, he jumped into 2-on-2. And I thought maybe 5.5, 6 weeks was realistic. And then it was right at 6 weeks. And then probably would, like I said, it would have been a game earlier if he didn't get suspended. All right. See you guys.